as disappointing as that may sound for many fans who are hoping to unite Mbappe and Haaland next summer, I don't think Real Madrid's budget right now with the whole COVID situation is nearly as ready to accommodate both players, to be quite honest with you.
No. And I'm still not convinced that Mbappe. I know he's a target next summer. He's even a target now, really. But I'm not convinced Mbappe is going to come to Real Madrid next summer, because I don't necessarily think anything improves, but also because PSG are not the type of club who will sell him. I think they will risk losing him for free next summer. Is the way I see it. Everything they've said, it may sound like a bluff, but I just don't think. I think even holding on to Mbappe, and even for one last year, the payoff for that, if you win the Champions League, is worth it. And if I'm PSG, to be quite honest, I wouldn't let go of him either. Because I would rather have that extra year for him and then see what I can do later. But I just don't see PSG as starting to make things budge. 1 year on his contract, and even with 1 year left on his contract, I don't think he's going to come cheap. So I just don't see Mbappe next summer. Haaland's contract is much longer, but as we've discussed, he's more attainable because of his release clause.
Oh yeah, but Haaland is leaving next summer for sure. If it's not for Real Madrid, he's leaving for another club for sure. I mean, Manchester United are going to throw everything at him, for example, or these big clubs in the Premier League, maybe even Manchester City, Bayern Munich will for sure go after him like very very hard next summer. I mean, that price, the clubs will not wait. That price is just ridiculous for a player of his caliber, and even more so in the current context. So I'm fairly sure that Haaland is not going to stay in Dortmund next season. It's just so. I mean, if Real Madrid really want to sign Haaland, I think it's pretty much next summer or never. That's the one thing that might be tough.
And I don't think Dortmund are the type of club who are going to just go against their entire salary structure of years past and start matching bids from
No.
those big clubs that you just mentioned. But I do wonder what Haaland is thinking in his head, because historically, very young history, it's not like a long sample size, but he looks like the type of player who will take baby steps and not make that huge jump right away. If he likes the situation at Dortmund, he may not make it too difficult. But I'd be curious to know what club he would want to play for. And do you think that Odegaard gives us some leverage? Do you think
Yeah.
this a little bit of a pull for him to have Odegaard here?
Yeah, I think it's a factor. I'm not saying that Real Madrid have Odegaard and they can unite him with Haaland, so Haaland is for sure Real Madrid bound. I'm not saying that it's that big of a factor, but I do think that Odegaard being here is somewhat of a factor, and obviously also Real Madrid's reputation. Real Madrid have this big reputation, this big mark that every player in the world likes. But I think Odegaard will be a factor for sure. I'm not saying that it'll be big and Real Madrid will be able to sign Haaland for 10 million a year less than if it were any other club. But I think it's a factor for sure.
Yeah. I think we see eye to eye there. The likelihood of him leaving in Dortmund next summer is high. Where to, I'm not sure. I think Mbappe will be very difficult to sign even next year. I think if he comes, it's going to be in 2 years. That's my hunch.
Then
Yeah.
that's where I disagree with you, Kian.
Okay.
I just think that Mbappe. I'm not sure of his willingness to wait another season in France with this same contract he has right now. If Real Madrid actually promised him to go after him next summer, I think if Mbappe doesn't sign for Madrid next summer, it's because he'll sign an extension with PSG. Maybe including some kind of a clause for Real Madrid just to make his future signing somewhat affordable, and I'm talking about maybe 200 million range. But I think if he doesn't sign for Real Madrid next summer, he'll end up signing an extension for PSG. That's my gut feeling. I don't think Mbappe is going to sign for Madrid as a free agent, to be quite honest with you.
But I don't think the barrier is Real Madrid or Mbappe. I think Real Madrid will do their part and Mbappe will do his part. But the stumbling block for next summer to me is PSG themselves, who will make it really difficult.
Hmm.
They're not going to want to lose him to Real Madrid. And if they are willing to, ultimately they're going to ask for every single penny possible. And I don't know if Real Madrid will pay that kind of top dollar next summer.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, and I feel your point as well. But at the same time, I don't think Mbappe will be able to resist the temptation of a huge big contract from PSG that might be coming his way if he doesn't leave the French club next summer. It's just going to be very interesting to watch because without this COVID situation, I was fairly confident that Real Madrid and pretty much so maybe even PSG had agreed on a potential big transfer for Mbappe next summer. But as you are mentioning, it'll be tough for Real Madrid to enter this 152 million 200 million range for Mbappe next summer. So it's going to be very interesting and from a financial standpoint. But at the same time, if the scenario is the one you're describing, that's a perfect situation for Real Madrid. Then you spend maybe 150 million next summer on Haaland and maybe Upamecano, or Haaland and Camavinga, and then the following summer you're able to spend 200, maybe 100 on Mbappe's contract and fee, and then on the other player remaining of either Upamecano or Camavinga. That's a perfect situation for Real Madrid. But maybe it's my pessimistic self speaking, but I don't see this scenario very likely. I think that Mbappe might end up signing a contract extension if he doesn't sign for Real Madrid next summer. I feel and I fear that he might feel a little bit disappointed by Real Madrid if Real Madrid don't sign him next summer. It's just my gut feeling. I don't know.